Let there be light, and there was light. Okay. Oh, oh, okay. All right. Let's see Father Adam in the back. Of course, casting his eyes on us. Yeah, so those are the famous words of the God said. The said God. I say God said or said God, but we are talking about Mother Eve. Of course, Mother Eve is the said God of Genesis, the God who cast the first spell. Let there be light, and there was light. We can see that it's amazing. Of course, I would call that a spell. I call it an affirmation because I suppose I really wanted to, well, see the softer side. An affirmation is seen as a softer side, but it is both an affirmation and a spell. Where you say, let there be light, and there was light. It's really, well, um, it's a wonderful exclamation as well. Not just wonderful, but we just see that everything came into being through those first 8 words in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 3. So there are 8 words. Of course it is actually it is 11 words when it says and God said, but that is the person, the narrator, who's now coming, making this big entrance. And God said, and then God comes, let there be light, and there was light. So however we want to see this, but that is really a wonderful, juicy, most comprehensive. Right now it's becoming like that, very comprehensive affirmation that we could use. I have gone through the motion or the process of deconstructing this, which there is much more to it, but I did about 8 presentations on let there be light. In fact, I covered mainly the 2 first words. We have looked at all the words, but there are layers and layers and layers. But the word that I have found most delicious so far, well, do I say most delicious, but it has been so recondite in that sense of its construct, is the word there. Let there be. That word there has in it over there, because it has sort of been very enlightening for me. I had not for all my life really looked at a word with such beauty and such precision or essence, to see that to say something is over there is also saying that it is here. Because one of the things I have also understood with words, and that was before really embarking on the YouTube channel. In fact, that's where I began my interest in numerology, is that I understood that every word that you can find in another word also consists of that word. So the main word that we look at, for instance, beginning, has in it beg, it has in, and it has in as it will an in that you like a hut or a house or hotel, whatever it is. It has got that in as well. It has got gin, which is that alcohol. So every word has in it those other words, and if we look closely, we will be able to identify all these other words that it consists. So the words weren't just put together lightly at all. In fact, I came across an article that I read from Cambridge University, that there are people who would study a certain set of words, and I think it's called the Althurium legacy. So I think it's every 14 years or so, a certain set of words would be studied, examined. So a lot of energy, precision, and meaning are put to the words. They're not just thrown lightly at all. So there we can see, for instance, when shorthand or came out, when people were texting, and of course you could make out the words by just having the two last letters. You could do the filler, like but now what technology has caught on very quickly on is that people would now develop their own codes so quickly among themselves, and then of course that would give human being their own unique language, which perhaps would cost technology a little bit more to just tap into. So now they have the suggestive words. They give you so many choices, sorry, presented to you. So you are actually putting the proper words in, and they can collect the data in case you were to say hair, as in hair, and you actually meant hair. Although it's not to say they could not pick up the meaning in the context of what you have said it, but they have quickly retrieved that, as in my experience. This is what I'm going to say as a witness to that error, to this error. Okay, now on that, we have explored the word let there be light. We have looked at the word there, and we saw it has in it the, it has he, it has her, it has hair, it has air, which is directly 5 words. Again, I found it very fascinating that there were directly 5 words out of 5 letters, out of a 5-letter word. And that 5-letter word, of course, had been used twice in this magical spell of let there be light, and there was light. I found it very fascinating that also that 5-letter word could be turned into another word that is very magical, which has been termed the most magical number, number 3. So when we shift that R into this place, meaning we shift it into the third position, the R, which would be the middle, of course, that's where birthing happens, in the middle of whatever, the middle of the mouth, the middle of the vagina, the middle, that's where birthing happens, right there at any birthing points, or whether you were having a kundalini experience, whether you were opening your third eye. So here 9 is really being in that position of 3 in the is really telling us a lot. Now, there's another thing that I found out with the let there be. We have seen that it also is perfect. We have in essence 6 words. Well, we also had 3. We had 3 actually. So 3 came out of, but that would be of the absence, of course, of the other letters, like we have done with he, other, too. So that would be 7 words that we actually got from there. Now the 3, of course, I'm glad I caught up on that, because it also is so, it's the catalyst of the sacrifice template, because that denotes the cross of Christ on which he got crucified, of course. Hence we have crosses all over the place in Christianity. It's the cross. It's about the cross. And there was something else. So we had these words. So we had he, her, and the. Now I have done a numerical value on the word the, which equals 6, and her actually is that would be 13 plus 9 would be 22. I believe this is correct. And he is 13. So in 13, this is where everything is really, this is the incubation or the incubator. So 13 is the incubator, where of course an incubator, but incubator, we have done the numerical value, which equals 9. And there was something very magnificent that we did. We also did the numerical value for the word 13, and that became 9 as well. So I find that very, very fascinating. So because I have been using this as the incubator, and it came out not only that the incubator equaled 9, but the word 13 also equaled 9. Now that's what Mother Eve does. She works intuitively with us depending on where we're at and where we are wanting to be. We want to grow. In my case, I want to grow. I want to learn. So Mother Eve is guiding me rightly so. Now we had of course, the is number 6, and that is what we are. We see also in the word the, there is also he. Now he, of course, is the one who created man in his own image and likeness. We could say the creator in his own image and likeness. So this is where we need to be very clear about this. Mother Eve, of course, the mother in the verse, or in the first book of the Bible, in verse 2, where it says, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. That was Mother Eve doing her rise and doing her spell, because she survived. She's the survivor, the grand survivor of the genocide that had happened, because we are not the first species, and she is the creator. She's the spokesperson. She's the one who gathers the other gods around and say, okay, we are going to do a new thing. Hence we see on the sacrifice template, she is under the new column right there. So this is where Mother Eve is, right there in the middle of the garden. The garden is, we are the garden. So she is really in the middle of us. She is resting wherever you're at, or maybe you have had your pineal gland activated, but without having your pineal gland activated, or your Holy Spirit, however you want to put it, or you have been enlightened, in whatever way you want to put it. But it's that as the 6, we can see the W is there at the bottom, which is waiting to get ignited. It's the NEW. It's the 6 number here, and she is ready to take us into, there's the mouth. She curls up, or teaches us how to curl the fruit, have all of it, swallow it. It's like the red pill, so to speak. It's a red pill, like in the Matrix, and she is teaching us how to do this. In that way, we need to learn to trust. This is where she's saying, you are the one. But she's saying that to all of us, you are the one. Basically, be ready, get to know her. That's why she says, come, come. I want to show you how. I want to teach you how. I want you to just observe me, observe my movement, observe what I do. Because that's why she's saying, I have gone on the ground. I have gone on the ground. I have been roaming around. This is why it is said, God said to Satan, where are you going? And he says, to and fro. Doing what? To whoever I may devour. It's really that, okay, I'm sure there is more to this, but it's really showing that she is saying, I want to teach you how to devour that which is taking control of you. Just observe me. I want to teach you how to devour that addiction, so it can have no more control over you. We have been taught that the serpent or Satan is really against us, instead of seeing it as Satan was working on our behalf to teach us to go into the right path, where we can be enlightened. That is what the serpent is about. Don't we often come into a situation that We feel that was the worst thing that could ever happen to us. We had got sacked because somebody had told some lies about us or had said the wrong thing, or something terrible had happened. And yes, it did cause us pain. But don't we look back at any time and say, wow, that was a blessing? Wasn't that the best thing that happened? Because, of course, you knew in your heart that you ought to have left that job ages ago. You knew within your heart that there was something better that you wanted to do, that you have been holding back on being that expressive, expressive person that you know you are, but the environment you were in did not permit you to do that. And so you kept yourself back and procrastinated and found a load of excuses. I know that happened. This is the exact thing that happened to me many years ago. And then I thought in the end, I had this tribunal case and it was going on because, of course, it led on to me having a need to defend myself. Whereas, in essence, I knew I should have left that job. When I say should have, I knew within my heart that I had a desire to do something else, or there was more to me than what I was doing. It was limiting my level of creativity that was etching to come out and to be realized. And that is what I mean, and that is how Mother Eve works with us. But however, there's also the other part to Mother Eve, that when we ask the question, because she says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. And whoever seeketh, of course, and this the S word again, with Mother Eve. So you are connecting directly with her there and observing her ways, observing her operations, observing when she is testing you and to see, oh, well, maybe you had given up smoking and some people, all of a sudden, all the people around you smoke, but she's observing you to let you realize the level of strength or weakness that you have acquired, to let you realize where you're at. And that's what Mother Eve does. It's like saying, okay, I thought I was already over this, but she presents the scenario not for her, for us to see where we're at, to find the beauty of life, to find the strength within us, to get into, tap into the gods that reside in us, to know that we are making use of the gifts that have been given to us. That's what Mother Eve is about. So we are talking about let there be, of course, and this is where it's in that 5 spectrum Mother Eve wants us to see, to get to see the real beauty of life. She knows that by us remaining on the low ground, so to speak, we are limited onto how much we can see, or we can see to a certain extent, but we are meant to permit ourselves the opportunity to be at a position of a elevated position, so we can look below like we were looking from an aeroplane, for instance, and to see the vastness of the beauty that we are part of. So I particularly like to have the opportunity to look through a window when the aeroplane is landing. And then when I do this, I'm thinking, wow, and I can see all that green and I can see the buildings or whatever it is. At that moment, I am not seeing no sign of danger. I'm not seeing the truck that is driving into the bicycle. I'm not seeing accidents. I'm not seeing serpents. I'm not seeing anything. I am seeing just beauty. And that's what Mother Eve wants us to get to, that position, so we can get to appreciate both sides of the spectrum. Okay. Now, going back to there is that, so we have seen, of course, he and her. Now, this is really interesting here. So we have 22 vibration here, which equals the laugh and the smile. All this goes together, laugh and smile. Of course, the smile is really reminding me again of Mother Eve. The S before the M-I-L-E. That is Mother Eve taking us smiles and miles, because we shift the S word behind miles, behind at the end, and then it becomes miles. And that's what Mother Eve is ready to go miles in showing us even how to get to laugh, because laugh also equals 22. I'm just going to do the word laugh. 3, 1, 3, 7, 8. So 7 plus 8 is 15, and 15 plus 15 plus 3 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so we have 22 right here. Brush. Oh, my brush has gone walking. Okay, so there we are. Okay, Mother Eve is teaching us how to do this. So, but that equals 4. 22 is 4. And 13 is also 4, but we have seen the magic of 14, meaning 22 also goes into the same bracket. It can still go in the same equation. And number 6, of course, we have seen the magic of 6 too, especially if we did that in the word form, it would be 7. Of course, 7 is like whole, the number 1, the one, which is in the matrix. Okay, and we had the word here, H-E-R-E. We have done this, which equals 9, because this is 10, 19, 27. It equals 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. Okay, we also got the word 3, as we did do 3. Of course, 3 is also 11, like we have here. And it showed the magic of 3. It showed the magic of 3, that even if we were to do 11, it comes to 9. And we see that 9 also would go back to 6 to confirm the fullness of the process of what happens in the incubator. To come back, it births and gives another 6 of whatever it is that we are endeavoring to achieve. So we can see, and there was something else we saw with 3 in the motion. I want to really get us to understand the motion of 3, as in the L. It has the same numerical value. So what we have been saying, that this affirmation is a 3-step affirmation, and now I got a perfect way of just looking at it in the point of both the L and the 3. So basically, the mouth, when our mouth is shut, it means that our tongue is inside, and we can speak in our minds. But when we are uttering the words, our lip is open like this here, we could say. Our lips is open, our tongue is out. This is the 3-point right here. So this is a 3-point, and of course, if it was shut, this is the tongue would be here, and there's the 2 lips here. So it's a 1, 2, 3 step. I'm just going to go over this again. So it's 1 motion. Of course, it's 2 levels or 2 points, 2 directions rather. 2 directions. So we have going outward or inward, however we put it. So there are 2 directions here and 3 points. There are the 3 points. Of course, it's all about the mouth. It's all about the mouth. We see that. Oh, I don't like the feel of this. Okay. And the tree of life, of course. But we also see that the 3 in that way has the ability to ripple out, of course, because that's what it's about, for manifestation. So the three ripples out in the words and it can form a beautiful petal flower. So we had the word tree, the TREE, which had a numerical value of 21. Of course, it's the 3 again. That's the tree with Christ, but it's also the rock. So we see it as 21, and to show how it is also the rock, because 21, of course, tree is 21. Let's do this again. TREE. This is 5, 5, 9, 2. So this is 10, 21. That's correct. So 21, let's do this. So I have done this before. The word 20 equals 26. So 2 plus 6 is 8. And the word 1 for 1 is 7. If we add this together, 7 plus 8, so 21 is really 15. Wow. That's the tree. 7 plus 8 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. Here we are talking about the magic of the love number of 15 again. This is 15 right here as the tree of life, we could say. So we have the flower of life as the 8-petal flower. It can be the 8-petal flower because it's in the number 8, things are set. And then we have the tree, or like the cross, we could say, is number 5. Of course, when we do the numerical value for the word 5, it also is 6. So we can see the significance of the story of Christ dying on the cross. Now, of course, cross is really, and I'm looking at the T, is already like the cross, of course. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So if we did the numerical value for 5 as a word, that would be 6, and that really tells us. The other word that we haven't done is air, meaning, like we say air, or like look, or hair. It is the short for hair. So this would be 10, 19. So it would take you the whole 9 miles, so to speak, 10, and would take us back to the word let or and. Perfect, which is perfect as well. Actually, the word perfect is actually 10 in numerical values. So that's really wonderful, really wonderful. Okay. Yes, so of course we have seen there is so much. We have looked at in all of these aspects from the word there, which I have erased slightly. Let's just look at this. So TH, okay. So from the word there, we have those words here. And so that tells us in creation there was a he and there was a he and a her, sorry, and the earth. And there is another thing, the word earth, there is not an A, but we could still have that pronunciation for the sound, the spirit of sound mind, as earth, EARTH or ERTH. Okay, the A is not there, but that is telling us that the earth and there was a he created, there was a her created, and there was of course, all that was in the spell. And hair, of course, we have there, and we have 3. 3 is that which, of course, we have seen the magic of all of those things, and the incubator was right there too. I feel there's yet another word that I haven't really grasped in there, but HEART, okay, that would have been there as well. We don't have the A, but the spirit of sound mind would be EART, or and the word hurt as well. It's, of course, HURT is there, but it does really kind of render that sound, the spirit of sound right there. Okay, but we have seen in the word light, it has lit and it has hit, and it has git. I don't quite remember what that means, but it has those words as well, and so on. So basically, this has given us a magnitude of events, of the picture of what that spell had brought into being. And we see the 2 sevens are reflective there when Mother Eve said there were 14 Eves. So the 14 Eves would be there, 7 and 7, because actually Eve is really 5, but we see the 7 Eves, that would be 14, 15. So I'm not sure what that would be a numerical value right now. But when we do 7, the numerical value, of course, we have 20. So basically, that in itself was rendering 2 sets, as if it's like 2 sets of creation was happening right there. Because it's like, let there be light, and there was light. Because once you repeat, repeat means you are doubling the effect of whatever it is. That's what it is. So when you say, let there be light, and there was light, but it also means that you are saying, let there be, and you could be pointing and saying, oh, and there was light also. We didn't add the also, but it's just to make a point here. It's like to explain 2 sides or 2 sets of creation in that one spell. Hence, all these are doubled and they have the direct numerical values on both lines. I am fascinated with that. Yes, let the magic prevail. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this. And we want to thank Mother Eve as well for drawing light and saying, let there be light, and there was light in all these. So I'm hoping that the same comprehension of what has been conveyed, or even deeper, because for me, I tend to learn more when I watch the videos again, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I missed this, I missed that, but I'm going with the flow because that's what is happening in the moment. It's about being present with the serpent. Thank you. Namaste.